I never imagined I'd walk into my own life and find it completely upside down. My name is Gideon. I'm 38, and I've been married to Felicity for 10 years. 10 years of building something I thought was solid. 10 years of being present, supportive, loyal, and invested in us. I worked long hours in IT consulting, often coming home late, yet I made sure our household ran smoothly. I never complained about overtime or missed events. I prided myself on being dependable, the kind of husband who quietly holds everything together while life spins around us. For the first 5 years, Felicity and I had that spark. We laughed together, shared quiet evenings, and celebrated the little victories of daily life. But I started noticing cracks around year 6. Subtle at first, a text notification flashed, a shadow of annoyance when I tried to hug her, a flinch when I went to touch her shoulder. I brushed it off, thinking maybe she was stressed at work or overwhelmed by life. I told myself patience was the solution, that if I gave her space and kept showing love, things would return to normal. Things didn't return to normal. The flinches became avoidance. She'd leave her phone on her desk while walking past me, pretending to be busy when I asked about her day. Nights meant her curling up on the couch, her attention consumed by social media or work emails, leaving me in silence. I tried gentle attempts to reconnect. A dinner I cooked, small compliments, planning weekend trips. But each effort was met with quiet indifference or excuses. It was as if I had become invisible in my own marriage. I first suspected something months ago, a whisper in my gut that I chose to ignore. Then one Tuesday morning, the confirmation came in the most blunt and undeniable way. I was in the office early, grabbing a coffee before logging in, when I saw her across the floor, laughing a little too freely at something on her laptop with Dominic, one of her coworkers. Something about the way she leaned in, the whisper, the hand brushing across his arm. It was unmistakable. I didn't confront her then. I didn't yell. I didn't send accusatory texts. I wanted to see clearly, without my emotions clouding the facts. I spent that day in a quiet turmoil, reviewing the interactions in my mind, every flinch, every cold shoulder, every lie about late nights. By the time I got home, I had decided I needed to confront her. I walked in, trying to maintain calm, reminding myself to stay composed. Felicity was at her desk, her laptop open, Dominic's name still visible on a chat window. My chest tightened, but I didn't let it show. "Felicity, we need to talk," I said, my voice steady. She didn't look up, not at first. Then, with the faintest sigh, she swiveled her chair, giving me the barest acknowledgement of my presence. "I saw what's been going on," I continued. "I know about you and Dominic." Her face registered a flicker of shock, or maybe guilt, but she quickly masked it with irritation. "Gideon, you're being dramatic," she said, her tone flat, rehearsed. "It's not what you think." I paused, letting her words hang in the air. Calmly, I said, "Tell me what it is, then. I'm listening." She leaned back, crossed her arms, and for the first time in months, looked directly at me. "It's nothing serious, just harmless flirting. Stop making a scene." "Flirting," I repeated, my voice quiet, deliberate. "All those times you avoided me, brushed me off, laughed at messages, all of that just harmless?" Her silence answered my question before I had to speak again. I could feel the weight of the years, of every sacrifice I had made, every effort I had extended, pressing down on me. I had been loyal. I had been patient. I had been present. And in return, I received deception and disregard. It was quiet, slow, insidious. The kind of betrayal that doesn't leave bruises, but eats at the soul. I didn't yell. I didn't slam doors. I simply walked toward the bedroom, grabbed a small duffel bag, and started throwing in clothes, my laptop charger, and a few personal items. Felicity followed, her expression a mix of frustration and incredulity. "Where are you going?" she asked. "I'm leaving," I said, calm even. This isn't how love works." She scoffed, rolling her eyes, muttering something about overreacting. But I ignored it. I didn't argue, didn't try to justify myself. I just walked out. The night was cool, quiet, and I realized that for the first time in months, I felt a strange clarity instead of turmoil. I drove aimlessly, parking by the river for a while, letting the water's stillness mirror the silence that had filled my marriage for years. Over the next few days, we communicated only when necessary, and even then, my words were measured, factual, without emotion. I set boundaries quietly but firmly, making it clear that my presence, my loyalty, and my resources were not to be taken for granted. Felicity reached out, trying to negotiate, to justify, to minimize. But I stayed grounded, calm, observant. Nothing I said was reactive, everything was deliberate. The most shocking moment came when she asked me to meet her at a cafe to talk things out. I agreed, but I wasn't seeking reconciliation. I wanted to see her face, to measure her intentions, and to understand the truth without the filter of years of denial. She arrived, wearing the same calm mask, pretending like nothing had happened. I listened to her carefully, letting her words fill the silence, then responded in short, neutral sentences, holding firm to the boundaries I had set. It wasn't a scene. There was no shouting, no dramatic collapse. The conversation ended as quietly as it began, with me walking away, not angry, not sad, just resolute. I realized then that the love I had poured into our relationship was still valid, but it had been poured into someone who no longer wanted to reciprocate. Over the weeks, I began to notice a shift inside me. No longer did I feel the gnawing anxiety of being unseen. No longer did I question my value or my role. I focused on myself, on clarity, and on the life I deserved. Felicity continued her routine, continued to see Dominic, continued as if none of this had impacted her world. But for me, the chapter was closed. I didn't leave out of anger or revenge. I left because I finally acknowledged reality, that being loyal to someone who no longer valued me was not love. It was erasure. It was slow, silent erosion, the kind that leaves no physical scars but steals peace from every corner of your being. In the end, I found something I hadn't had in years: quiet, unshakable peace. I realized that dignity isn't earned by clinging to someone else's affection, but by standing firm when they betray the trust you gave freely. Life moved on. Work continued. I laughed again at small jokes, enjoyed quiet evenings, and allowed myself the simple satisfaction of being seen, fully, by those who mattered. And though Felicity's choices had altered the landscape of my life, they did not define my value, nor did they diminish the years I had invested with integrity and care. I learned that betrayal doesn't have to be explosive to be devastating, but it can teach clarity, strength, and the kind of peace that only comes when you stop fighting for a love that has quietly died. Walking away wasn't surrender. It was survival. And for the first time in a long time, survival felt like freedom.